Hello. Just this week, I've been in a conversation online with two different people who are both experiencing a faith crisis. Now, I don't know about you, but I have experienced faith crisis many times. That is, I've entertained great doubts, especially when I've questioned sometimes philosophically and sometimes out of life circumstances have been very disappointing. Where is God? Where is God when it hurts? Philip Yancey wrote a book called Where is God When It Hurts? Sometimes we come to the obstacles and difficulties in life, and it makes us question, are my prayers really heard? Do they get any higher than the ceiling? Or are they just sort of bouncing off an iron sky and coming back down to me? We're not the first people who have ever struggled with faith. In fact, many of the Bible people did also. Now, we know that there's a wonderful example of faith of Abraham and Sarah. We know there's faith that Moses had. We know that there's great faith, and especially the faith of Jesus Christ, who seemed to have such a deep relationship that he was just a channel of God's grace to other people. But in the normal experience, human experience, we often come to moments where we are just disoriented. We can't make sense of things. We can't make sense of God. One of the things I have turned to is the book of Psalms. Psalms are the hymn. It's the hymn book of Israel and the early church. These Psalms have praises and adorations of God, but 1/3 of the Psalms are laments, and laments are complaints. Some were individual complaints, some were community complaints, where the entire community got together and complained. And what did they complain about? Well, their circumstances, but sometimes they even complained about God, that it seemed that God wasn't doing what they wanted to do, that their will was blocked, and that they didn't understand what God was about. One of the laments is Psalm 13. And the lament says, "How long will you forget me, Lord? Forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long will I be left to my own wits, agony filling my heart daily? How long will my enemy keep defeating me? Look at me. Answer me, O Lord my God. Restore sight to my eyes. Otherwise, I'll sleep the sleep of death, and my enemy will say, I won. My foes will rejoice over my downfall." That's not the end of the psalm, but it was bringing pain to public expression. This is what the Psalms were doing. An honest speech before God saying, have you forgotten me? How long will you not hear me? Where are you when I really need you the most? One of my friends recently lost a 6-year-old grandniece to COVID. And of course, in the grief and in the pain of that, you wonder, why couldn't God have just stopped that? Another one of my friends has deep philosophical questions about how is it that people who claim to be the people of God, followers of Jesus Christ, how is it that they were able to murder Native Americans? How is it that they, without conscience, did such heinous things in the name of the Lord? Those are good questions. Those are good questions. One thing that Paul Tillich, a great German theologian, he was the first theologian that was dismissed from his post as a professor in Frankfurt, Germany, during right before the period of World War II. He was dismissed by Hitler because of his outspoken criticism of the Nazi movement. With 11 Jewish professors, he lost his job and came to the United States. He tells us something very interesting, that doubt is not the opposite of faith. Doubt, in fact, he said, is part of the structure of faith. Because faith is a basic trust, a trust in God, but the doubt that we have is, what we're trusting, is it really God? There are many things that, like maybe we're trusting in the fact of the American lifestyle, or the beauty, or the consistency of progress, or that I will always have everything that I need, or that every time I pray I'll get healed, or that my family will be protected from evil, from drunk drivers, from crime or robbery or murder. And when it doesn't work out that way, we feel shattered. There may be a basic trust there, but we have a lot of doubt. Where did we get it wrong? How long, O Lord, are you going to forget me forever? How long will you be so far from helping me? Please listen and help me now. Sometimes that's the best we can do. I think about the man who came to Jesus, and or Jesus came to him, and he said, Lord, can you heal my son? And he said, do you believe? He said, Lord, I believe, but help thou my unbelief. Sometimes that's the best we can do. Doubt is not opposite to faith. Turning in the center of our person, a willful act of turning in the center of our person. Unbelief is not doubt. Unbelief is actually unfaith. The turning in the center of my person away from God, where turning in the center of my person towards God is faith, even though it's accompanied with doubt. Frederick Buechner, a wonderful writer, novelist and religious writer, Presbyterian minister, he wrote that faith is the ants in the pants. Doubt is the ants in the pants of faith that keep it alive and moving. We all entertain doubts. Even a minister, even after years of ministry, there are times that I have to question and renegotiate my faith. Now, I have a basic trust in God. I trust that God is with me. I trust that God loves me. And I can trust God even for the things that I can't understand now. And I have the resources of the Psalms that are helping me to recognize that when we have those doubts, when we have the questioning, where is God when it hurts? These people put their pain into words and submitted it to God. In fact, an entire book of the Bible, the book of Job, was a long poem, narrative poem about a man who suffered unjustly and was questioning the very righteous decisions of God. Sometimes the most that we can do in the dark is to not doubt in the dark what God has shown us in the light, and to hang on to those things. Even in this COVID-19 quarantine, where people are dying and we're afraid to go out, afraid to be in the public, and can't see our own children, can't do what we want to do, yet God is here doing other things in our lives. Don't give up. Never give up. It says in 1 Peter, you now rejoice in this hope, even though it's necessary for you to be distressed for a short time by various trials. This is necessary so that your faith may be found genuine. Your faith is more valuable than gold, which will be destroyed even though it's tested by fire. But your genuine faith will result in praise and honor and glory for you when Christ is revealed. Even though you've never seen him, you love him. And even though you don't see him now, you trust him and rejoice with a glorious joy that's too much for words. And you're receiving the goal of your faith, your salvation. We can have questions. Sometimes the house is shaken, but it is not destroyed. Sometimes our faith is shaken, and the outcome will be a greater sense of faith, a deeper trust, a more genuine love, and hope. Don't give it up. God bless.